But before you can withdraw out of that bank account of purpose, you must first deposit in the bank account of service.
Welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show.
According to New York Times, 25% of Americans have purpose. The other 75% of Americans do not have a sense of purpose in their life. That to me is heartbreaking, and that is what today's episode is all about. Guys, welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show. I'm Bedros Keuilian, and today's episode is about the definitive guide to finding purpose in your life. It should not be that hard, and I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to finding purpose, meaning, fulfillment, and significance in your life. Now, this New York Times article went on to say that only 25% of Americans have a sense of fulfillment, significance, and purpose in their life, and everyone else just kind of feels a little bit lost. They feel some low-level grade of depression and anxiety and hopelessness. That is not how we are meant to live. I believe our Creator created us to have a sense of purpose. I think every single person out here on this planet can and should have purpose and should have some meaning to their life. But the reason that we don't have purpose and the reason 75% suffer through this horrible ailment, for a lack of a better term, of lack of purpose is simply because they don't know how to get there. Like we know, for example, that, how difficult it is to become an NBA athlete because they say, well, less than 1% of the world's population can become an NBA athlete. That is true. But I bet if every single person who had maybe the right height and just good athletic ability would take to training like Michael Jordan did, like Kobe Bryant did, and just attacked it and did it 3 to 4 times a day and did it for years, that their probability of joining the NBA would be significantly higher than 1%. So the reality is most people are lost and don't have a sense of purpose because what they are doing is not aligned with finding purpose. And that is what we're going to attack first. So first thing I want to tell you, and this is for young men as well as grown men and women, by the way, right? Think about what happens with women. You're nurturing your babies, they grow up, they fly the nest, and all of a sudden you're having empty nest syndrome. And now you feel like you don't have a sense of purpose, meaning, hopelessness, right? Maybe it's time to reinvent yourself. For men, this happens as well. As your kids get older, maybe you're pouring into your kids and you feel like, hey, this is something that I'm doing in addition to the work I'm doing that gives me meaning. But what if you got fired? What if technology changed or the business world changed, or as your kids grow up and leave, or what if you're in a relationship and your relationship is your purpose, but then all of a sudden there's a breakup, a divorce, a death, right? So even for grown-ups, we have to understand that purpose is pliable. So if you're young and you're listening to this, understand that what I'm about to tell you is the definitive guide to finding purpose. If you're older, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, and you have lost your sense of purpose, how can you regain that and reinvent yourself to have a life of meaning and significance? So let's get started. First of all, I kind of lied to you. You're not going to ever find purpose because purpose is not lost. Your purpose is not lost. It's not like a pen where it's lost behind a desk or a pile of papers and you have to go find it. Your purpose is something that you need to develop, right? And if you understand that the purpose is something that you need to develop, then you realize that, oh, that means there's some work I have to do. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But for most people, the work is something that they have to do, but they don't know what that work is. So let me draw a little picture for you. And I've told you guys this story before, but our audience has grown significantly since I've started this podcast. So it's worth telling the story one more time. So let me tell you about my dog, Cookie. Now, we've had this beautiful dog for 10 years. She's part German Shepherd, part Mastiff. Now, when we got Cookie, she was about 1 year old. And she was a big dog, very strong, was just pulling everybody every which way. Up until then, we've only had small dogs. So I decided that I was going to hire a dog trainer. Well, here's what happens next when I get the dog trainer. The dog trainer works with Cookie for about 2 or 3 weeks and really makes her an obedient, smart, well-behaved dog. However, she then comes to me and says, hey, look, this dog is part German Shepherd, and therefore she has to feel like she has a sense of meaning and purpose, like shepherding your kids, keeping the property safe. She needs a sense of routine every day. So you've got to wake up and throw the ball 10, 12 times every morning on a consistent basis, because if she doesn't have a sense of purpose, if she doesn't have a sense of meaning, she will get depressed and start getting anxious. And you will know that because she will dig holes in your beautiful backyard. And I said, why would she dig holes in my backyard if she's depressed and anxious? And she said, well, because she will give herself a sense of purpose or meaning in the absence of it, right? And I realized in that moment that we're no different. As humans, we are no different. In the absence of purpose or meaning, we end up creating other holes in our life, if you will. And we do that through just making a series of bad decisions, wasting a bunch of time on social media, maybe gambling, maybe alcohol, maybe drugs, maybe pornography, maybe infidelity, whatever the thing is, you end up digging holes in your life because there's an absence of purpose. And I can tell you this, that your creator did not put you here on this planet just to be a worker bee. You were not just put here to join the rat race of life. You and I were put here because I truly believe that each and every single one of us are destined to create a change, a shift, a solution in the culture of humanity. But again, purpose is not lost, and therefore you can't find it. And so if you sit around trying to actively think your way to finding purpose, you never will. You must develop purpose, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. Well, what if it was actually very easy to develop your purpose? And so let's figure that out. How can we develop purpose? Well, first of all, understand that purpose makes you have this sense of meaning, right? Like, what is the meaning of life? First of all, we have to answer that question. The meaning of life is for you to become the 2.0 self, for you to evolve from human animal to human being. And I've told you before that the human animal, that we all start off as human animals. You can say you're as transcendent as you want to be. You can say that, man, you were born perfect, that you had understanding of life and the world and humanity, but you didn't. We all grow up greedy, selfish, emotional, driven by our thoughts and feelings, and we all have to evolve to that 2.0 self, human being, right? We have to raise ourselves to a higher level of consciousness, and we have to connect with our creator. And when we go from human animal, who's impulsive and greedy and selfish and driven by wants, then we find ourselves always suffering in silence, white knuckling through life, anxious, depressed, lonely, hopeless. But if we can find meaning in life, then we can transcend to a higher place, the 2.0 self. So the very first thing in terms of meaning, the meaning of life, is for you to develop yourself into a better human. And that is to make sure that you are developed in these 4 categories of life: in your faith, in your family, in your fitness, and in your finances. In your faith, meaning not only in a higher power, but also faith in yourself, confidence in yourself, right? Self-belief, right? Family, as in like the people that you love, the people that you care for, your friends, your coworkers, the people that you value. What is the relationship that you have? How boring life would be if you did not have friends or family to experience life. If you can't experience life with people that are connected to you, that bring you joy, that you have things in common with, man, what a sad life, right? And so if you have faith and family, then the next thing is your finances, right? Like, you need money because money solves the problem of not having money. So find a career, a vocation, a business, and make sure that it is giving you the money that you need to pay your bills, to save some money, to create wealth for the future. And you have to learn financial intelligence. It's not just something for the rich. Financial intelligence is something for everybody, but it's not readily available because the opposition, big government, the school system only breeds workers. It does not breed financially free, independently wealthy people. So it is your job to search that out through podcasts and books and courses and coaching, etc., right? YouTube and so on. And so if you understand that financial freedom and your ability to make sure that your bills are paid and that you are saving money and that you are investing money and you are looking out for your future and you are using that money to give your family the experiences that you want, etc., then you've got the fitness and the 4th component to rising up to higher self, which is obviously not just physical fitness, but also mental and emotional fitness. That mental emotional hygiene is massively important because if you're one of those people that is just, you're always high strung, you're always emotionally erect, you're always mentally weak, and you fall apart easily, and you're always catastrophizing things, what's it all for then, right? And if you're fat, you're out of shape, you bend over to tie your shoes and you can't even catch your breath, and you're a 25, 35, 45-year-old man. Like, how formidable are you at this point? You're not. And so your physical, mental, and emotional health must be dialed in. Your finances must be dialed in. And of course, your family must be dialed in. Your relationships must be healthy and beautiful and meaningful and experiential. And of course, faith in a higher power and yourself. That is how we transcend. So the number one meaning of life is that. Why do I share that with you? Because the first step to developing purpose is structure. And if you were to focus on your 4 F-bombs that we just talked about, faith, family, fitness, and finance, then you would have life structure. You'd wake up in the morning at a certain time. You wouldn't hit the snooze button. You'd get up early enough where you can, plan your meals. You can get a workout in. You can do some meditation. You can read books on self-help and self-growth. And you can maybe listen to a podcast, watch a YouTube show on developing yourself into a better human. Then go and get your work done and serve humanity, right? Make your money. And then connect to God, connect to consciousness, stack wins. When you stack those wins every day by saying and doing what you say you're going to do, that is a powerful, very strong man. The kind of man that I respect, who says they're going to do something and they do it. They say they're going to wake up early and they do it. They're not going to hit the snooze button and they don't. They're going to go work out and they do. They're going to eat clean and they do. They're going to stick to their macros and they do. The kind of man that I respect is the kind of man that walks in and his body is his calling card, right? Your fitness, and then you're mentally tough. You're emotionally stoic and resilient. And you're not just some reckless damsel in distress. And if you could be that guy, then you are already ascending. Now you've got life structure where you've got a routine that cannot be fucked with. Now, once you've got structure in your life, now we can start finding your life's purpose. But your first thing is to find your life's meaning. And your meaning is to go from human animal to human being by attacking those 4 F-bombs. Once we do that, then we have to go, all right, I've got life structure. What is next? Well, if I've got life structure, then the next thing might be I need to serve, right? Understand that all forms of purpose are service. Now, you might be like, whoa, Bedros, what do you mean? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like, it's service. Purpose is service. The only way service becomes higher level of purpose is that you found something that's so interesting to you and you do it for so long that you develop competency, and then competency becomes mastery, and then you get so good at it that you enjoy doing this, that you're one of the few that can do it so well, whatever this thing is. Hey guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian Show. Listen, if you're like me and you love fitness, you love helping people, and you love being an entrepreneur, you might want to open up a Fit Body Bootcamp gym. Doesn't matter what day of the week, what time the session is, Fit Body Bootcamp locations are full of clients getting amazing results. With hundreds of locations across the United States and Canada, we are helping people burn fat and build muscle while helping entrepreneurs like you develop business models that are successful and have recurring revenue. So if you think Fit Body Bootcamp might be a great business model for you, then I want you to go to fitbodybootcamp.com. I want you to click the franchising link, fill out the application to see if there's a territory available in your town, in your area. And who knows, if you're a good fit, we will invite you to the Fit Body Bootcamp family. Now back to the show. I just saw a YouTube short the other day of a dude who's a trash man. He hangs on the back of a trash truck, and it's one of those trash trucks, I think it's on the East Coast somewhere, where it stops or it slows down, and his job is to kind of dump the bags into the back of the trash truck, and then he jumps on and hangs on and goes to the next house. Well, this guy decided to hang a little camera off the back of the trash truck, and he runs alongside of the trash truck, dumps the things, and then jumps on the truck, and he's just like fist pumping and is just like super enthusiastic, massively optimistic guy, jumps off again, runs to the next house, throws the bags in the dumpster. While the truck is going, he's running alongside, the camera's catching it all. A regular old trash guy decided that he is going to get so good at what he does that he is going to develop mastery. And now he's got a massive following on social media, and he inspires people. Because if you think, well, I need to be a doctor, I need to be an astronaut, I need to find this high level of calling, maybe I need to be a pastor, a preacher, so that I can find this high level of calling to finally find my purpose. Nope, there's a trash guy out there running enthusiastically, optimistically, happy, inspiring, motivating people, and he's doing his life's work. But he didn't just get there. He first had to learn how to not fall off that freaking truck. He then had to learn how to actually be good at doing his job. He did it long enough where he started to find the nuances and the hacks. And soon he decided that I'm going to start running alongside the truck. And soon his buddies were like, dude, you're so motivating and inspiring. You motivate and inspire us. And so he got the bright idea. What if I hang a camera off the back of the truck, off a trash truck? And now he's motivating and inspiring others, doing what? Dumping garbage away. And I share this with you because you overthink what finding purpose is, when in reality, just like this man, you have to develop your purpose. He took what was his job. He got a job as a trash man to pay his bills, to pay his mortgage, to keep his kids in school, to keep food on the table. But he decided that instead of just succumbing to the rat race of life, that he was going to make a fun game out of this and get himself a workout while doing his job by running alongside the truck and using acrobatics to take garbage cans and garbage bags and dump it in the back of this truck, and then magically, acrobatically jump onto the back of the truck and then whiz on over to the next house. Like, what an inspirational man that is. I share this with you because you overthink it. There's a guy who had a structured life and then decided to take something mundane and boring as being a trash man and make it exciting. So exciting, and he developed such a high level of mastery at his job that he now inspires the world. Can you see how that works? And so for those of you out there, you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to find my purpose. Thing number one I'm going to tell you is structure your life. Create a time that you wake up. Create a time that you go to sleep. Decide what you're going to do in those times to make yourself a better human by checking off those 4 F-bombs every single day. What did I do today to better my faith, to improve my finances, to deepen the relationship with my family, and to build my fitness in terms of health and mental emotional health as well? Like, that structure then sets you up for the next win, because now you start gaining momentum. I wake up at this time. I go to sleep at this time. I've got structure. I do things that make me feel good because you're stacking wins. If you lay in bed and you screen suck and you doom scroll and you just kill all this time, you feel horrible about yourself, don't you? Of course you do. So once you have that structure, then you go into service, like our trash truck guy, right, that I was telling you about. You find a job, you have a business, and you make sure that that job or your business or your career, you're serving people. And you're like, all right, man, so I'm serving people and I'm making money doing it. Great. Maybe it's something you're interested in, maybe it's not. If it's not something that you're interested in and want to make it your life's purpose, then for now it's just paying the bills. But also consider joining other things, organizations, groups, get-togethers that are maybe aligned with some of your interests. What are some of your interests? Maybe you've been like, hey, I'd always like to join a running club, but I just go running on my own. Go join a running club. And maybe you get together every week with a whole bunch of people. And now you're interacting with others. And now in that running club, you're doing something that's interesting to you. You like running, or you like biking, or you like reading books, or you like jujitsu, right? And now you're getting together with other like-minded people that share your interest. And who knows, as you talk to people, interact with people, engage and connect with people, you start developing these little seeds that end up germinating as your life's goals and purpose, right? I've developed business partners in ways like that. I've developed friendships through joining groups and organizations, whether I'm surfing or jujitsu or I train for that marathon. But you've got to be out there. If you're hiding in your car, if you're hiding in your room, if you just go to work and do nothing else, like, put yourself out there. Like, go to a public gym and see if there's a class that you can take. Maybe there's a CrossFit type class, or maybe there's a high intensity workout class you can take. It's cool to do your own workout, but maybe from time to time you want to do something in a group environment as well. You never know what interests will end up piquing you. Think about what led to my life's purpose originally. It was the fact that I was a fat kid all throughout elementary and junior high. And for me, all I wanted to do was get fit and lose weight by senior year of high school so that I could ask Nakaya to the prom. And it was that goal of mine. I had no desire at the time. I didn't know that my purpose was to be a fitness coach, and let alone to own a fitness brand like Fit Body Boot Camp and then apparel company and supplement company in the health and fitness and wellness world. I had none of that. I had no inkling that that was my path. In fact, I also liked cars, and so I was going to school to become a smog technician after high school. But in that time, while I was losing weight and eating right, the summer before senior year of high school, I realized I really like this thing. And I think instead of going to smog tech school, which I did for a while, I think I'll change my path and I'll get certified and be a personal trainer. because after changing, losing weight, getting fit, I had a whole new outlook on life. I was more optimistic. I was happier. I felt like people connected better with me. And so I wanted to give that experience to others. So I completely changed my interest. I had an interest in working with cars, but I had an even greater interest in fitness. So I decided to get certified and to be a personal trainer. Lo and behold, by interacting with my personal training clients, one of those clients, Jim Franco, who I've talked about before, put the bug in me that, hey, you might want to own your own personal training studio. You're so good now at selling and marketing yourself here in this gym that you might want to consider opening up your own personal training studio. That led to another one and another one. Then I had 5. Then I sold those and I started coaching and consulting gym owners. And I was like, man, through all these gym owners and personal trainers in the world that I get to coach and consult, I get to help more people achieve their fitness and fat loss goals, which I loved. And then ultimately that led to me starting and launching Fit Body Bootcamp, right? In 2010, 2011. And now it's become a big international franchise. And through all of our hundreds of locations, I get to help more people get fit, become more healthy, have a more optimistic view on life. That's always been my goal. But then I also decided, in addition to what I do with fitness, I love creating businesses and helping people win their financial freedom. And so I've done that for myself with all these businesses. What if I start coaching other entrepreneurs who are on the come up? I think I'd get fulfillment out of that. I was interested in that. And so that also became part of my purpose, to help people get not only fit, but also get financially free, right? And so you understand how life can change and evolve as you develop and grow. And at some point, you realize that as I get older, my interests might change. I might be curious about jujitsu. And now I'm like, man, I really like jujitsu. I've been doing jujitsu for the last 2 years. I love the dudes that I train with. I love traveling and training at different places when I go to speaking events. And so it's become, something that I'm very interested in. Could it become a life's purpose one day? Possibly. Who knows? Maybe if I'm approached by the right jujitsu brand or academy and they're like, hey, would you like to help us scale this thing into a franchise or a chain across the country? And if I like the person and I like the way they run the school, I might say, yes, I'll help you scale. And now something that I'm interested in and passionate about can also become another purpose for me. Because I truly do believe that everyone should be good, not great, not amazing at, but should be good at jujitsu. I mean, think about the ways that you could defend yourself. Think about the ways, most people are a sitting duck. Just the ability to defend yourself is a gift of jujitsu. And then never mind the health benefits of mobility, of flexibility, of cardiovascular benefits. All those side benefits are huge. And then never mind meeting some of the coolest, most awesomest people, because everyone in any kind of combative sport is usually pretty humble. They're down to earth and they're massively deadly. And what a great group of people. And you realize, oh, this guy's a dentist, that guy's a real estate agent, that guy does termite inspections, that guy does this. Pretty freaking rad, man. And so you never know if you don't do those interests. So it goes, structure your life, start serving people through the work you do, because here's something I'm going to tell you right now. You must first serve. In other words, you must make deposits through serving before you can make withdrawals through purpose, right? See, everybody wants to find their purpose because you will get something out of it, right? When you find your purpose, you have a sense of meaning. You have a sense of man, I matter. You have a sense of contribution to the world. Yeah, we all want to feel like we're contributing to the world. We all want to feel like, I matter in this world. We all want to feel like what I do matters. And that is a withdrawal because that feels good, right? But before you can withdraw out of that bank account of purpose, you must first deposit in the bank account of service. You must serve others, solve other people's problems, take on new interests, and see how you can help them. When I go to jujitsu, I'm still a white belt. Yeah, I'm 2 years in, but I'm a white belt. But that doesn't mean that when we're shooting the shit before or after rolling, that I'm not asking the guys around me, hey, how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I give you some guidance? How can I give you some clarity? Maybe some guy starting a business and that's my zone of genius. I could serve them, right? Maybe some guy was like, hey, you know what? I get gassed out easily. I'm a blue belt, I'm a purple belt, and I get gassed out easily. No offense to any of the guys that I roll with on Friday nights, you know who you are. You know what I mean? And if you get gassed out easily because you have 30, 40 pounds of weight to lose, cool, man, I've got a fitness background. I could help you with that. I could serve you. So I'm always looking for opportunities to serve people. And because I deposit through service, I'm able to withdraw through God-given purpose, right? So it's not a God-given gift. It is things that I've developed. Entrepreneurship, the ability to grow, scale businesses, I've developed that muscle. The ability to build muscle and burn fat, and know how to train and how to eat, I've developed those skills. The ability to orate and connect. What if someone says, I want to be a better speaker so I can grow my business? Great, man, I can help you with that. I speak 2 to 3 times a month from stages, speaking to thousands of people. I know how to connect. I know how to move people emotionally. I know how to drive sales from the stage. You want to do that? I can help you with that, friend. So you might be better than me on the mats, but that doesn't mean that I can just sit around and be like, well, I guess I can't help these guys. I can't help you get better at jiu-jitsu on the mats, but I can sure help you in different areas of life. And so we have to show up with service. That is the deposit that you make so that you can later make a withdrawal through purpose. I hope you understand that. And once your life is structured, and once you have developed this ability to serve others through things that you do that you might have a little bit of interest in, right? And then soon momentum hits. And 1 or 2 of those things that you have interest in, you're like, you know what? I really like this. I think I'm going to develop more competency in. And you get better and better at it. And then soon you develop mastery in that. And lo and behold, now you're doing it full time. You're doing the thing that you love, that you're interested in, that you also have mastery in for money. What a great life to live. And you're serving a segment of the population with it. And that is how we develop our purpose, because it's never going to be found because it ain't lost, my friend. And guess what happens? If you decide that you're going to leave that industry or you sell that business, well, there goes your purpose with it. You better start conditioning yourself, especially you older guys and gals, on what is my next thing going to be in terms of purpose. What is the next new interest that I have? What is the next new hobby I want to get into? What is the industry that I've been curious about? Get into those industries. Take those interests, 2 or 3 or 4 of them at the same time. Get involved. And when you do, soon you start developing competency in 1 or 2 of those categories. Then you develop mastery in another category. And you're like, you know what? I think there's good money to be made here. I enjoy working with the people in this industry or community or this space. And I'm pretty damn good at it. And because I have mastery, people will pay me. And now you find a new level of purpose, right? As I've gotten older in life, I went from building businesses and building bodies, health and fitness, serving people through their health and fitness, to now inspiring and motivating you and giving you a path to a better life. Like, this is now my new purpose. My purpose has shifted 3 to 4 times now over the decades that I've been alive. I'm 51 years old and I've got a newfound purpose to pour into grown men, to make sure that the younger generation of young men that are coming up have a sense of meaning and fulfillment and significance and hope in their life. That excites me so much. That brings me so much joy and happiness. But I'm telling you right now, it's structure, it's service, it's interests, it's competency, mastery, then momentum. And then you realize, I love what I do. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, that just because you found your purpose, that every day is going to be perfect. You're going to be happy. You're going to get out of bed and your feet are going to hit the ground and you're going to jump for joy. Nope. There's plenty of times that people like me and many others that have a great sense of purpose with the work they do have a bad day. And it is okay to have a bad day, a bad week, maybe even a bad month, right? But overall, you don't have a bad life. And that's the message I want to send to you. So guys, please understand your purpose will never be found. It must be developed. You first start escalating yourself from human animal to human being. Connect with consciousness, work on your 4 F-bombs, faith, family, fitness, and finance. Start serving others in any capacity that you can, even if it's free. Start dabbling in things that you're interested in. Running club, jiu-jitsu, whatever, reading books. And before you know it, some of those interests will start sparking and competency becomes mastery. And before you know it, you found a new level of purpose in your life. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Bedros Keuilian Show. Always remember this, that average is the enemy. Success is your responsibility, and change can take place in an instant when you are willing to flip the switch. I'll see you next time.